So today I want to showcase QuestStudio, which is an AI-powered platform for co-creating narrative. Here we can see, got the first step, game context. I got a project I created, The Wrath of Ragnar. Lately I've been nerding out about kind of Viking history, and yeah, I played a lot of Age of mythology, so Norse mythology as well, and I've been toying around this idea of a story about a redemption arc for some sort of king who's been deposed. So let's start with a Viking king is deposed. That's all I need. Genre, historical fantasy, and I can already start generating premises. Alright, the saga of Viking King Harald Sigurdsson, who's deposed as ruler of Norway by his half-brother, King Harald Fairhair. The story continues with Sigurd's revenge. Now, I can just keep generating stuff and start sorting through to find something that I like. Alright, here I like this. It's got a little bit more fantasy. Same idea, but here we got some Valkyries. His brother and his army of slaves are awaiting him. This is interesting. Okay, let's keep going. Alright, now we can start generating worlds, settings this story is going to take place in. At any point, you can modify any of these outputs if you already have ideas. You could come in and just enter them. But I just want to showcase here how you can essentially start with nothing but a premise and quickly get ideas. Alright, we have the icy fjords of Norway. I'm just going to keep generating worlds to see if I can find something that really tickles my fancy. Okay. Good 3 on the table. Let's see what we got. I'm just going to stick with the icy fjords of Norway. I like that. We can go ahead and generate a much richer setting and background lore for this world. Alright, so once we have setting and lore, we read through this. I can make any changes that I want. We have a description of the fjord, serving as primary setting for conflict between Harald Fairhair and his half-brother Ragnar. Okay. Yeah, Viking history and mythology, perfect, this is what I want. With references to the gods and heroes of Norse legend throughout the game. Okay, perfect. We can even go in and start generating locations within this world that we've selected. And then once we have those locations, we can start enriching them further by generating descriptions, potential NPCs you can encounter with this video game, objects you might find in that location, as well as neighboring locations. And you can even go in and start talking to NPCs. Alright, we got Viking Village, Frozen Shoreline, Ice Fields, Chained Cave. Yeah, this is cool. I could explore this further, but I want to get right into narrative. So we're going to save, skip ahead to characters, and start generating some characters. Boom, Harald Fairhair. So if you notice something, it's the same character that we have in the premise. So the system is intelligent enough to realize which characters have already been created, and it's always going to include those in the cast of characters that you're generating at this step. So we get an explanation of the appearance, personality of Harald. If we want to go in, we can also edit any of this at any point as well. And that will be taken into consideration in the next step. So I'm just going to keep generating characters. See what type of cast we get from the AI. So we have Ragnar Thorson, appearance, lean and wiry man, possessed with a sharp mind, a cruel disposition. Okay, a little bit different than Harald. He's the king. Let's read a little bit about Hordis. Hordis Darthbreaker is a tall and athletic woman. Oh, it's a woman. I assumed it was a man. Commanding presence, her sharp features and long braided hair convey a sense of regal elegance. Alright, this is cool. Got a couple different unique characters. You can save, move on to narrative. We got a couple different story structures we can choose, and these kind of follow classical heuristics that you might use to develop and structure a progression arc for your story. You can go without any of them. I really like this Save the Cat. It has, and you can get a little description of what these mean as well. So Save the Cat follows it's this pretty standard template, follows these 15 steps. So we're gonna go with this one. All right, boom, there we have it. We got 15 steps. Let's zoom in a little bit, read these a little more closely. We got Harold's Solitude at Sea. Okay, cool. Opening scene. He's got a revenge plan. Harold's family bliss, and so on and so forth. But I want to go in and just start fleshing out one of these scenes right away. So we had Harold's revenge plan. The theme of revenge and justice is introduced when Harold expresses his desire to avenge the murder of his sons and reclaim his throne. All right. So I'm just going to take the title of this and head over to the assistant and ask it to flesh this out a little bit more. And the assistant, tell us about the murder of Harold's sons. What emotions is he feeling? And that's good to get started. Then I can even have it start to generate some soliloquy, so we can start to see how Harold, what his personality is like, how he might talk to himself, the different emotions that he's going through. And then I can even have the assistant start generating entire paragraphs for me if I want. Or I can take this and start writing out pieces myself. There we go. We got a response back. So we get the scene set up, and we even get a location, Harold's war room in this hidden fortress deep within the fjords of Norway. Sounds like he's brooding. Time of day, a little bit of ambiance and setting for us. The last rays of sunlight slowly fade behind the mountains. Okay. All right, tells us that Ragnar is actually the one who murdered his sons. Cool. So we already have connections between characters. Hjordis is his most trusted advisor. So we're starting to establish some relationships. Get a little bit about Harold's emotions, exactly as we asked for, the murder of his sons, and the revenge plan. All right, let's see if it'll generate a soliloquy for us. All right, now we got a response. Here he is, in true Shakespearean fashion, expounding upon his grief. We even have a little setting up of the scene as though this is a theater. Harold, oh, how the bitter sting of betrayal clings to my soul. Okay. Anyways, you can see that in a few short minutes, we went from an open-ended premise all the way to a setting, a cast of characters, an entire progression arc and plot that we could go and modify at any step if we wanted, generate, we could branch it, and then when we have those pieces, we can instantly start talking to an assistant and begin fleshing out and exploring this world that we were creating for ourselves. Once you have all those pieces too, you can go ahead and export this to, say, a Word doc, so you can start collaborating with others if you're working on a team, or maybe that's just your preferred medium for working. So we have to go ahead. In order to do this, we have to select the final terminating node because we could actually have multiple branching paths. And we need to know which one is our desired path. All right, and here we have the exported Word file with the entire project. All the information you've created so far in one place for you to continue working on. Game concepts, setting and locations, cast of characters you've created, and then the narrative outline. You can use this as an outline and start expanding on it. And there you go. In under 15 minutes, we've got an entire story fleshed out.